we might be breaking the internet right now. That's all it is. We got a lot of people. Got a lot of people showing up. We got almost 500 people on IG.
Yeah.
That might be what it is. They say refresh wasn't working. I see y'all STB family. I see y'all in the building.
But y'all are here. Y'all are here. That's good. Both of our videos are on. Here, let me hear and see if I can hear everything. Mm-hmm. And the cool thing, though, y'all, is this records for us. So you will, if you did register, and we encourage you, Instagram, go ahead and register too. If you register at the link in our bios, then it'll send you the replay. Let me just see if I hear us here. Talk for me, Tay.
Yeah, I think we're good. We're good.
Yeah, we're okay.
I just think for some people it just wasn't loading up on the webinar. So y'all might just have to stay on the IG and watch the webinar replay.
Yeah, so we okay.
We'll make it work.
Okay, well, everybody else saying we ready.
I see y'all. So we'll drop the class. I got y'all. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes. Oh, no, I was just going to say. So, okay, so you were saying that part of what makes you a good trader is the patience that you learned when you were losing weight. Mm-hmm. And I can so agree with that. Not the fact that I've lost weight because I need to, but like the self-discipline part. Right. I feel like when you're able to like master self-discipline, then it goes into so many areas of your life. Mm-hmm. Is that something that you would say too?
Absolutely. And with weight loss, especially when you're coming from, 300 plus pounds and I got down to like 180. So I ended up losing like 100 pounds. When you, to do something like that, you really got to learn who you are, right? And you have to it's tough. But when you do that, there's nothing you can't do pretty much. I mean, seriously. And that in itself, losing weight, because I give you a very good statistic. This is real. It is harder to get a six-pack than it is to make $1 million.
What?
Yes.
Why you say that? What? Tell me more.
So think about this. To get a six-pack takes, severe discipline. You have to be very disciplined to get a six-pack. You have to eat on point all the time. You still got to work out all the time. Every time you're hungry, you still have to stay on course. Most people are not going to say no to their favorite snacks. Not just because of something they have to deal with, but food is emotional, right? Mm-hmm. I'm about to put my vegan trainer hat back on for a minute.
Please tell me, because I need it. I need that. Go ahead.
Okay, so food is emotional. And the reason why I say that is because every craving we have is tied to emotion. When you mad or angry with somebody, they call you salty, right? Oh, why are you acting salty? You salty. Well, we actually crave salty foods when we're mad. If you ever get mad at somebody and then you find yourself eating potato chips, it's because you mad. You salty. It's an emotion, and it's tied to emotion.
Okay.
If you are nervous, nervousness is tied to crunchy. That's why when we get nervous, we bite our nails, right? You want something crunchy. So when you start diving into all of these, you want love, and love comes in different ways. Haven't been having enough, sex, affection. We're going to keep it PG, but haven't been having enough love in your life, or maybe you feel unappreciated at work and you need love from there. Guess what? You start craving sugar. This is why in movies, every time you see the girl or whoever's in the movie break up in a relationship, she's on the couch and she's eating ice cream, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's because sugar and love is associated. So when we get into all of these things, these emotions, you start to realize, well, I'm going to act on my emotions and eat, but I'm going to still go chase this bag. So it's always easier to get $1 million than it is to get and maintain a set of abs. And that's a real statistic. Y'all can quote me on that.
I have never, ever thought about it that way. But now that you're saying it, I'm thinking through all the times that I get nervous and that I want different, like you said, nervous, you want crunchy stuff, right? Crunchy. And then when you're mad, you want salty stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now let's equate that back to stocks. So when you are nervous that a trade is going to go bad, are you trying to get crunchy stuff, or what's the emotions that you go through in trading?
So especially my people who trade short term. Because remember, we got short term, long term, right? So a lot of my people who come to me, they want to trade daily, weekly, right? My motto has always been $1,000 a day keeps the real job away, right? And you know, it is true. So people who trade on a daily basis, they can't sleep sometimes. They might be ultra nervous, which may also cause you to start eating or wanting to crave crunchy foods. So yeah, you might be in a trade and then you might start eating some peanuts or pistachios or potato chips or whatever's crunchy, and you might start crunching on something because you're nervous. You're nervous. So oh yeah, and then when you lose, go ahead.
Oh, real quick, is the fan still on? Because I still hear kind of some wind. Yeah.
Let me cut that off.
I want to make sure they hear everything you're saying.
Gotcha. Yeah, we good. All right, you good?
Yes, that's so much better. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Gotcha. So yeah, those you know, eating and emotions is what it really comes down to be honest. So for all of y'all who are wondering, what do I have to do to be successful in the stock market? I always do this. Gotta get your emotions together, right? Yeah. So once again, if you can't get your emotions together, you're probably gonna lose a lot of money in the market. That's just how it is.
Facts. Mm-hmm. Now, are there any things that you do especially to keep your emotions in check? Because this is big. I just did so I'm doing this hub challenge. Oh, and I didn't even introduce myself. So
that's right.
Hey,
you gotta
everybody.
tell
I'm
people
Teri.
Who you are.
I trade and travel. So I used to be assistant principal, quit my job to travel around the world, and now I teach over 3,000 students how to do that same thing. How do they make small wins consistently in the market to replace their income or pay off debt or travel? So that's what I do. And our school's called Trade and Travel. But Tay, I don't know if you know this, but right now I'm trading for charity. And It's kind of on this national stage because I'm trading an account from $300,000 to $750,000.
Sweet.
And then we're going to donate. Yeah. And then we're donating $450,000 to a nonprofit.
Okay.
So right now we're in week 3. And in week 1, we made $26,000. In week 2, we made $7,000. But week 2 was last week when the president got coronavirus and just all kind of craziness went down. And I was telling them my stomach was hurting. I was nervous the whole week. And some of the things that went wrong was I was greedy. There were a couple of trades in my account that were doing wonderful in the week, but I didn't sell it because I was I just want a little bit more. I just want a little bit more. And of course, as you know, when you're greedy, that's the biggest mistake ever, because then you don't sell when it gets to your seller's level. You're not paying attention to what the chart says. So I just told them about all these emotions that I was going through last week. Praise God, y'all. I know y'all are wondering how is Teri doing? This week we are fine. We're up to 559. Our goal at this point was to be at 45,000, but we're at 60,000 up. So we're doing great. But last week was one of those weeks where it was just I'm about to quit. I don't want to do this no more. Y'all. And people, I was getting into my feelings too, because you always have the crazy people in the comments and bots and just all kind of craziness. So what do you do to keep yourself centered and keep your emotions in check with trading?
That's a good question, because in business, I'm so go. From the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep, I tell people, look, I'm almost at 1 million followers and I'm still answering all my DMs, right?
I don't even know how you do that, by the way.
That's just
I have no idea.
So I do my best. And it comes from Gary Vaynerchuk. He was at 3 million and he's no matter what, I answer my DMs. So I was if he could do it, I could do it. So that was a personal challenge for me.
Okay.
Now, granted, I'm getting a little more, sometimes it's junk mail, so I might not answer you sometimes, but other than that, I go hard with my business. But when it comes to trading, one of the ways I kind of help myself to stay very intact with my emotions I meditate a lot, and it's not necessarily what most people would think is meditation, because meditation is whatever meditation is for you.
Okay.
Right. So for me, meditation is I take my daily walks. Okay. And I live right over here, close to like the Potomac River, and I go and walk, and I just ease my mind. Right. I ease my mind. I ride my bike. Right. Just things that I could just kind of, right, let go. No stock market. Because look, you stare at those charts long enough, you'll start seeing them in your dreams.
Yes, and you make stupid trades. Stupid trades that you wouldn't. You don't need to do that no way. Yep.
So for me, that's one of the best ways of doing it is just disconnecting, right? Just disconnecting and giving yourself some you time. Because when you trade and your money's on the line, you want to stare at that screen all day. You will want to stare at that screen all day. So I see y'all in here. What's going on?
Yes. Hey, and y'all get ready to ask your questions, because I'm gonna let y'all ask questions too. And then for those that are in the webinar, I'm so sorry that y'all aren't able to see everything. I'm trying to refresh it for us real quick to see if that will help. Hopefully, y'all might have to like re-log in.
We still got 112 people in there that's hanging out. So for some, it's working, I guess.
I hope so. I hope so.
But look, this is what I say. Anytime we talking about money, they mess with me all the time. I get shadow banned often. I got over 3,000 people I send my messages out to, so they can come in and for my Instagram. And a lot of time I get messages, Tay, it's not even showing that you live right now. I'm like, oh, okay. So they messing with me. Oh yeah, I get that all the time. So I guess we're doing something
roll
right.
Then. Right. We're going to roll.
That's right.
Well, okay, so let's go back to some people ask me some different questions that I want to ask you. So first of all, what is your methodology around trading? First, we got to see that, because some people said, well, what's the difference between how Tay trades and how you trade? So let's first talk about that.
That's a good question. So I like to think I have a different approach to the stock market because I got introduced to it as a day trader. And let me break that down. A day trader of small cap stocks. What this means is some of y'all probably got introduced to the stock market this way because you thought it was the easy way out. It's not. It's harder. I come from the world where we're day trading bankrupt companies. Almost pink sheets, for those of y'all who know what that is. And basically, these are like $2 stocks, 50-cent stocks, like literally penny stocks, right? Or sub-penny stocks. These companies are literally going bankrupt, and you never know when they're just going to just like die out. So you have to be very good at technical analysis in that world. So I got used to the real, the go mentality, where we had what's called a stock scanner, for anybody who knows what that is. We would have a stock scanner, and the stock scanner would be set to the parameters of anything with a low float, which basically means smaller amount of shares, and that was less than $20 per share. And anytime that stock went up by, we would set it to like 5% or 3%. Anytime the stock went up 3%, the stock scanner would say, for example, Hertz, it would say HTZ, HTZ, HTZ. And every time it went up, it would say HTZ, HTZ, HTZ. And we would go over there and we would search HTZ and we would go get in and get out, like literally in seconds. So that's how I got introduced to trading myself. And I was, it's very scary. Somebody said, that's scary. It's very scary. It's very fast. And I tell a lot of people, I said, look, you got to be careful with that, because a lot of people, and no, that's not insider trading for those of y'all who are asking, this is available to everybody. You just got to know that's why you can't Google your way in this world. You got to get you some coaching on this stuff. But it's totally legal. You get you a stock scanner. We use also things like stream decks. A stream deck is where basically you set your numbers or your buttons. And, if you want to buy 100 shares, you push one button, it buys 100 shares. You want to sell 100, push one button, it sells the whole position for you. That's how I got introduced to trading. So when I came over to the large cap world and we started trading more quality companies like Tesla, Amazon, Facebook, AutoZone. Shout out to you.
I love AutoZone.
I know, right?
That's my
So,
favorite company.
that's, I made $60K last week on AutoZone. So it was a good one. It was a good one.
Yes.
So yeah, coming over and trading these large cap stocks, it's kind of it's almost too easy, to be honest. Because when you get used to small cap stocks, you're like, I don't know when this stock will come back. So I have to trade the technicals. With these, we know Tesla's going to go back up if it falls. We know Apple. I mean, and it can fall $100 sometimes. I don't care. If it falls that much, guess what? I'll catch the bottom, find me a hammer candle, nuggets, right? And drop a little nugget on there.
Right.
Find a little hammer candle showing a reversal. I get in there and ride it back up. So it's always, not always, let me just say that, but majority of the time, these quality companies are going to come back. So that's what introduced me to this world. And I stayed because it's much easier up here.
It's great. So I'm, in terms of like how I trade, I very much am how Tay trades now. So I'm very much healthy companies that are on an uptrend. They move at least $1 a day. So I'm not trading penny stocks. I'm not trading anything under $10 because I feel like if you're trading good companies, you have a better chance at being successful.
Right.
And then very much looking at technical analysis, looking at charts to see where to get in and where to get out. And then somebody on here asked us about risk management. So I do want to ask you about that too. So what are, what do you do for risk management? Or how do you protect your risk?
So I have multiple ways of risk management or doing, going about risk management. So I saw somebody say, this is all that's in my budget. I want to address that real quick. Yes. I have a client, I think he's in here. He put $250 into a stock. Actually, it was Apple. We bought a contract, $250. Apple made his move when I called it, and he made 4,200%. Okay, so
this is the one. That's the one where he caught it right before the stock split. And then it ran up.
We caught it at 370. I'll never forget. It was at 370. I told everybody to get in. I saw a hammer candle. It was at the bottom of the Bollinger Bands. We grabbed it. It rolled up. It jumped in 4 days. It like jumped. And we rode that thing for a while. So he made 4,200%. I got out at 500%. I made like 70K on that move. So awesome. This is how we play. So for my people who are like, oh, I do day trading because that's in my budget. Just know you can, or small caps, you can come over to the large cap world and play options and still use your small budget. Okay. But risk management, because I'm playing with a bigger account now, I have a different type of risk management than the average person. So y'all gonna laugh at me with this. I don't get, there he is. What's up, Sean? 370 to 516.
Hey, Sean, congratulations on your trade.
There he is. So my risk management plan is a little different than others. I call it my symphony method. Okay. And basically what I do is, because, and this is a little bit of ego trading on my part, I won't lie. Because I think I'm good enough, I say, you know what? You're going to have to take my money. I say that a lot. I say, if I'm wrong on this, you're going to have to take everything I got on this position. But what I do is I hedge. So if I put, let's just say, if I have 10 grand to put into 5 stocks, my risk management plan is that I'm going to play what's called contrarian stocks. So if one falls, the other one's going to go up regardless, and vice versa. And a really good one, I'm going to drop a little nugget for y'all, is Beyond. Beyond runs opposite of the tech stocks. So when Apple was falling and Tesla was falling and everything else was falling, guess where Beyond's sitting? It's at 190 right now. Okay, I think it hit 190 today or got close to it. We caught that at 120. So I was in that. So I have lost before on Beyond on a short-term contract. I lost 50K. But because I had my symphony, because I had my symphony method, those other stocks that popped up ended up hedging me against that. So I lost 50K. I made 250K on the other stocks. And that kind of is what balances me out. That's usually my trading plan to mitigate risk. What I teach people who don't have the budget to do that, because it does take a lot of money, I'm not going to lie. If you don't have the type of money or budget to do that, what I usually suggest is we start playing with we do a 2-to-1 profit loss ratio. And that comes from small cap world. Because with these large cap stocks, you can get way better than that. But to be safe, we go 2-to-1. And I teach my people, I say, you need to know how your stock moves. Does it move $10 at a time up and $10 down? How does it move? I said, because when we find the average of how much it moves per week, per month, per year, we can find out what our risk to reward. Because if it's at the bottom of the Bollinger Bands and it moves $10 at a time, then you know this thing got to move $10 as a price target or potential price target. However, if we're playing a 2-to-1 profit loss, you got to be willing to lose $5 from your current position. So you're expecting a $10 gain with a $5 loss. So we take our stop loss and we move it down $5 from our entry. So that's kind of how I play, and that's how I teach some of my people. And there's other ways of doing it, but I try not to give too many of them away because I don't want to piss off.
Right. People pay you for that.
That's right.
People pay you for that. Somebody says, so Norm says, Teri, he's speaking our language. Yes, he is. So with our risk management, we're trying to do 3-to-1 reward to risk. And here, let me you can put your camera on. I'm hoping this thing, even though it's not working for them, it'll record for us.
There we go.
There we go. So we're doing a 3-to-1 reward to risk ratio when we're trading, and our goal is from like where we get in to our target is that's what we say is our reward, and then from where you get in to where your stop is, that's your risk, and we're calculating all that based on the charts, and then we're not hoping, but we're making sure before we enter that's 3-to-1. Right. But I love what you were talking about with hedging, because I talked about that in the Hub Challenge too. One of the things that I do to hedge is if I buy a call, I'll sell a call against it. So we're looking at like the verticals and making sure that so last week I was in Zoom, and it was a crazy week because at the end of the week Zoom went up, but then it came back down. So I was excited because the option that I had sold made money on the way down, but then the other one made money on the way up. So just like you're saying, like get a position to kind of hedge against the other one, like that's amazing.
Absolutely.
And then I'm trying to make sure I'm seeing if there's any other questions here. Someone said, how good are y'all on the charts? Love the charts. Do you use indicators, Tay?
Oh yeah, that's my bread and butter.
Okay.
That's where I get down. So coming from the small cap world, you have to be good at charts. So, your MACD, your RSI, your golden cross, your death cross, you need to know a VWAP. You need to know all of those things, right? So that's why we're so good, to be honest, because a lot of traders focus on fundamentals. That's usually not traders, let me say this. People who participate, investors.
Yeah, long
time. They focus on fundamentals. So they'll look at the balance sheet. They'll look at the, how popular is the company. I see that a lot. Hey, what is the business looking like right now? Not to say we ignore that, because it's very, give you a lot of good moves on catalysts, but we pay attention to the technicals. That's it. Now, I do have some plays. Y'all bet not say nothing. I know secure the bag. Y'all in here, don't say nothing. But we do have some plays.
Don't tell them all the gems.
We have some plays that are more speculative, based on a lot of my people say I can tell the future, but it's just looking at how if you piece things together, you can see what's about to happen in most cases. I'll give a great example. I won't give some of the stuff that, I don't want y'all to say, but I'll give another example. Tesla, for example. Everybody is talking, well, not everybody, but there are a lot of Tesla bears out there who are betting against Tesla. And they're saying, oh my God, Tesla this, Tesla that. Granted, Tesla has a gap at about 240. It's going to fall. Yes. Tesla is going to fall.
See, we talk about gaps. Our VIP is not all about gaps. Yes.
So Tesla is going to fall. But over time, see, we drew a channel on Tesla on a monthly chart, and over time, you see, once it takes its fall, it'll run back to $500 in the next 2-3 years, if it just stays, in that channel. Anyway, I mentioned Tesla because we piece things together, and we're like, okay, well, let's use common sense. Tesla's not a car company. They're a technology company, right? Tesla's not banking on selling more cars. He's banking on selling more batteries. He's also banking on the fact that he may be able to run his own ride-sharing company, because when he gets to level 5 autonomy, which 5G is going to be needed for level 5 autonomy. So now we look at 5G plays. Who makes the carbon fiber for 5G to be able to become possible, right? Y'all do your homework on that. Yeah. SCB, y'all know what we got on that one, right?
Yeah.
So,
did you see too where he had bought the land and he's like, we don't even really need to build anything on this.
Right.
We just have enough nickel in this land. We're gonna take the dirt I think it's nickel, right? Take the nickel out and put the dirt back. And he's like, we have enough to fuel all the cars in the world.
Yep.
It's like, okay. Well then whoever sold you that land sold it for way too low. That's all I know.
Facts. So I look at those things and I just start piecing them together, and I'm saying, okay, so he's about to try to take over Uber, and then even if Uber lasts, they got to go to Elon Musk for the technology, because the only way you're going to be able to last as a company, if it's a big if Elon can come out with the self-driving cars where the ride share doesn't require a driver, the only way Uber is going to be able to keep up with that is to have the same type of cars. Yeah. So Elon's going to have it sold up pretty much. It's going to be his area, his arena. And if you want to get into the arena, you got to go through him, right? So when I hear this and when I see, and hey, anything can happen to Elon or Tesla. So we don't know that what I'm saying is going to be actual facts, but I'm showing y'all how I piece stuff together, and I start putting my money where my mouth is based on what I'm piecing. Right? So this is how we play. Yeah, it will slick be. Somebody said Monopoly. He's close.
Oh, I know why this might not be working.
What you got?
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
I think that this was supposed to be streaming to YouTube. So it might be.
It might be on YouTube.
What's going on? Yeah. Sorry, but go ahead. Keep going.
But I'll keep the class going while you figure it out. I got you.
Thank you. Go ahead. I'm like doing the tech. I'm like, I don't understand what this is. Okay, go ahead.
So that, for the family who's wondering about, fundamentals, that's one of the fundamental plays that we do. We kind of connect the dots, right? So if I see some of y'all shouting out SMH, I like SMH. To be honest with you all, a lot of the stocks that I've heard mentioned for free, I don't play them. Because in the world that I come from, they have what's called pump and dumps. And pump and dumps work one way, to where if I get in the stock and I mention it, I say, hey, go get this stock, y'all go get it, and then I sell it once it goes up. That's a pump and dump. However, I know some grimy people in the market, because I've worked with a lot of people, and some of the grimy people use tools and popular stocks to short the market. So some of y'all, I'll just give you a great example. Some of y'all mentioned SMH, right? I know some big boys with, 8-figure accounts, and they'll go in there and they'll short SMH, right?
So
and that's just exactly, and that's just the example of what I'm saying. That's not saying that they're doing that. So you won't hear me talk about stocks a lot of time out loud, or at least the ones that we're in, because I don't want people trying to short them against us, right? Because I know some dirty players who do that. I know, and it's not just Nikola, because I shorted Nikola.
Which is good.
Right,
down.
And let me tell y'all something though. We caught Nikola for secure the bag. Y'all know what we caught VTIQ at the time is what it was. We caught it at $19 and we rolled it up to 90. And then we got out and we used that same money to short it. So I'm not necessarily saying that you can't mention stocks online, but I just try to let a lot of you all know you got to be careful with playing some of these stocks that are mentioned a lot. Okay, especially online. If you're getting some free stuff, just know there might be some people listening. Trust me.
Well, and the key too is, no matter what somebody says, no matter if you hear it on CNBC, you hear it on YouTube, you hear it anywhere, like you got to then go and do your own homework. And a lot of times they'll tell you something after the fact. So like one of the things I always think about with Jim Cramer, he can't talk about stocks that he's currently in. So if he's talking about a stock, he already was in the position and has exited, or he can get into it later. But if he's telling it to you, it's probably after the fact. So you got to go then and look at the chart to find out like, okay, that's a good idea, but is this the right time for me to play that trade?
Facts. Facts. Well said. And you see, you just mentioned something very good, because Jim Cramer, I rock with Jim Cramer. Don't get me wrong. I rock with Jim Cramer, and I like Jim Cramer. But you all got to realize, also, he can't say everything. He can't say everything that, And the reason why I say that is because I do my due diligence by buying into a lot of people's stuff. I want to see what's going on the inside. So I bought into Jim Cramer's, Action Alerts Plus, because I want to see what he's buying. Because see, that's how we do due diligence in the small cap world. We hear what the other traders are doing, and we're like, okay, we don't want that one, or short this one, or like we do our due diligence. So I see a lot of times when he's talking about something, it's not, because you'll hear him say it. If y'all listen to Jim Cramer, like he'll say things like, that one's in our trust, that one's in the traveling trust, or that one's in the, that one's in the, and he has to, like you just said, he has to say that as a disclaimer. Right? Yeah. And sometimes you can kind of pick up on some things when he doesn't mention much about some of them. For example, he'll say he likes it, or he'll say, oh, that's a great one. That's a great one. And then that's all he'll say about it. That lets you know that may be something that he's also interested in. I'll give you a few names. Beyond. He's mentioned that about Beyond. He's like, I like Beyond. I think it's going to be a great, stock, blah, blah, blah. And then he talks about how his daughter's vegan, and she doesn't eat meat, so he likes Beyond, etc. So he mentioned some of these things that he may be in on, but he can't go in depth about, or he can't really, because he can get in trouble for it. That's what a lot of people don't understand. So yeah, I noticed him say, I think is it CrowdStrike? What's the new? Yeah. Today he finally mentioned CrowdStrike. But it was like, it's like just now coming on his radar. There's another show where I think Josh has talked a lot about how he's in CrowdStrike. But now that one is starting to come on the scene. But I've been watching it for a little while, and it's kind of like, now they're talking about it, but the run might be, it's a little late. Right? So now that they're talking about it, us, the like they say, the home gamers, we go and look at it on the TV. We get all excited now, but the move has happened already. So I want you guys to just start knowing how to like look for yourself to see where these things are. And then I've been seeing some questions, so I want to make sure we don't like miss all the questions here. So hold on, I'm going to pull this up closer to me. So someone says, okay, some people are talking about training platforms. What platform do you use? I use one called TradeStation. What do you use to trade on? So because because I've always tried to start people at the ground level, and I have them go try out Robinhood first, and to look at the charts, I have them go use TradingView. TradingView is a very beautiful platform. And it's good. Go ahead. No, go ahead. I was going to say TradingView connects to TradeStation. I think they're the same company. Well, go ahead. So yeah, I love TradingView because you're talking about some beautiful charts. They have beautiful tools, beautiful charts. Love TradingView. So even if you have to go use Robinhood, you chart using TradingView. That's what I teach. Me personally, I have 4 brokerage accounts. 2 of them are with E-Trade. I use Trade Zero. Excuse me. Trade Zero is the only reason I have Trade Zero is that's what I use as a small cap trader. Because that's the best company that I could find that has short shares to borrow. Okay, that you can short. Yeah, so you can short. And somebody just asked on here too, will somebody tell me what shorting is? So you want to explain that real quick? What shorting means? So, first of all, warning. Please be careful with shorting stocks. I love shorting though, by the way, but go ahead. And don't get me wrong, I do too. But if you don't know what you're doing, and if you don't know technical analysis, and you just kind of speculating, shorting is one of the only ways, or one of the only methods that you can get in with $2,000 and you can lose more than you got in with. Okay, so for example, If I have $2,000 and I buy Tesla and I want it to go up, I can't lose more than $2,000. If Tesla goes to zero, I lose $2,000. I'm out of there. That's it. However,
that's because you bought.
Exactly. That's because I bought. But with shorting, I can borrow some shares to short Tesla at, let's just say at 450, right? Because I think it's going down to 400, and Tesla, it can spike up to $1,000, and I can lose way more than I put into the trade, right? So I'm always telling people
before too.
Yeah, and seriously,
Yeah.
And you got to be careful with it, especially with fast-moving stocks or volatile stocks. Okay, so you got to be careful with shorting. But for those of you who don't know what shorting is, it's essentially betting against the stock, betting that the stock is going to go down. And it's a concept that's hard for people to understand who are new to trading, because they're like, wait a minute, so you borrow the shares at a high price and you sell them back at a cheaper price? And you take the difference? And it's like, essentially, yes. So,
it's basically, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's basically like if I borrow a cell phone from somebody, so I'm going to borrow your Apple cell phone. And then I need some money. So I want to go make some money real quick. I got this cell phone that I just borrowed from my friend. I go sell it for $1,000. So I sold it, got $1,000, but I still got to give the phone back to my friend. So now I got to go on eBay or something and try to find a cheaper phone. So I go to eBay, I find a phone for like $600, buy that phone for $600 and return it to my friend. But since I sold at $1,000 and I bought it back at $600, I got to keep $400 difference, right? That's what you're doing with short selling. You're gonna sell high and then buy it back low. And it's
great analogy. Great analogy. That was beautiful.
It's really like, it's really cool because you make the money fast. Like if you guys noticed yesterday when the president all of a sudden he be tweeting, but when he's like, yeah, we're not gonna do the stimulus package anymore. The S&P fell 60 points in 15 minutes, where it had taken all day for it to get to that level. But when you're shorting the money, you make money so fast because the market falls a lot quicker than it goes up. That's why it's exciting to be able to sell first and buy later. But you can only do it in special kinds of accounts. So if you have a regular cash account in Robinhood or even a cash account anywhere, then you won't be able to do it. You have to have a margin account. So that's one of the things we talk about, margin. Or if you're doing puts, that's a version of short selling with options. Or you can sell a call. That's another way of short selling, or at least making money on the way down. So, but it's really, really cool. And I think traders should know both sides.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's good. That was a great, I just got to give you another, that was a great analogy. I've never heard it explained like that. That was good.
Thank you. Somebody on here is like, Teacher Teri. Yep, she's a teacher.
That's right.
Yeah, I am. That's a skill set the Lord definitely blessed me with, and I ran from for a long time. I was like, I do not want to be in the classroom. No, anybody else. Like I did all kinds of stuff, everything administrative I would do. But then come to find out that I have a real knack for actually teaching myself. Right? So that's really cool.
Me too. I love it. And you know, it's something I try to tell people, because to be an a-hole sometimes, I play with, I kind of don't, I'm not going to say I don't like it, but when people say, what do you do? Kind of like, that's like your name tag. Like, what do you do? They try to put you in the box, right? So when people say, what do you do? I play with it from time to time. Sometimes if I want to just shoo them away, I'll say I'm a full-time investor, which I am. Sometimes I tell them I'm a business owner. But a lot of times I tell them I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, okay, what do you teach? I say, I teach online.
Right. Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, and some people get in your business, and I'll tell them. I say, oh, I make 7 figures teaching. Like, what kind of teacher are you? And then that's when I want to really talk, because I get their wheels spinning. But yeah, I tell a lot of my teachers, especially who are still in the classroom, for anybody who's here, that you can always teach if that's something you love. But if you're trying to chase the bag, you can definitely come online and still teach. And it's a lot of money to be made.
Okay? It really is. when I was thinking about the quarantine and I was thinking about all the teachers, I feel like they were set up to make the most money if they were able to get over their own fears. Because a lot of teachers are afraid. Mm-hmm. They're afraid to step out of the security of the classroom. Mm-hmm. They're afraid to step out of the security of having a principal and a boss. Like there's something nice they feel like about that consistent paycheck. Mm-hmm. But if they realize that their knowledge actually is worth more than going to that school, if you're able to package like your skill set of educating someone, you can do so much better. But it's the fear, I think, that holds a lot of people back.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Mm-hmm. And, you know, to be honest, the entrepreneur world ain't for everybody. I get it.
It is hard. Yeah.
It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of, honestly, if you ever want to be a great trader, I think trying to be an entrepreneur first is a very good thing. Mm. Because the same patience, the same I say the same guts it takes to watch a stock fall while you're in it and not freak out is the same guts that you got to take with business. Mm-hmm. Because imagine not getting paid for a week or two and you're like, am I going to make the bills this week? Right? Yeah. Or this month, excuse me. And then you hustle up and then you end up still making those bills, right? It helps you with patience. It helps you with, you know, watching something not work in your favor for a while. So it's definitely something they should try.
Yeah. I mean, and tell me if you've had a time where you felt like you weren't going to make it. But I remember there was one time where I needed to pay my rent, and I've been an entrepreneur for a while. I've done this as a side hustle, but I've been in real estate where I had my own real estate practice, and then this business, and like I've been a serial entrepreneur all my life. Like I was the girl doing the concession stands in Little League, right? Like everybody got their nachos from me. So, but I remember this one time where I was at Thanksgiving with my family, and I knew that I could not pay my rent. But I didn't tell anybody at my house because I was just like, God's got to provide. Like, I don't know how this is going to happen, but God's got to provide. And I was in grad school at the time. So the very day before my rent was due, that the refund check came in. And I remember feeling like, oh my God, if like that was like the biggest dance I did. And I remember my mom like looking at me and I was like, and she didn't know nobody knew what was going on. But I was like, if I hadn't got that check, I don't know how my rent would have got paid. And I feel like if you've never been at that point where you don't know how a bill is going to get paid, then you don't know how to truly appreciate when you're making these big numbers. Like you have to have that kind of like, I don't know, there's something about us, the grit of an entrepreneur that really means something to me.
Right. You spot on with it. It's that, like you said, I think that's a good word, the grit. It just makes you strong. Somebody just asked me something about that. What did you learn through your vegan trainer era that has helped you through these endeavors? So the number one thing or the few things that I noticed when I was a vegan trainer, first of all, I'm more of a people person than I thought. You'll often hear me say on my page, sometimes you hear me say, I really don't like people. I'll say that a lot. I don't want to deal with people. I've shut down my program and I keep it very exclusive now. So now I'm only allowing 5 new people into my program a month. That's it. Wow. Like I don't even want to deal with people. So and I have the comfort of doing that because I
be like that sometimes, right?
Yeah, I make good money in the stock market. I don't need to run a business. But but the reason why I'm saying is because one thing that I learned is as much as I don't like people, I still want to help. And I say that because one of the reasons why I even started this, right? That's right. Look, I see my Nashville family in here. That's right. Anyway, I don't live in Nashville anymore. All right. But anyway.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you still were in Nashville.
I'm in the DMV area.
Teri said, or somebody said, Teri, don't you dare. Because they know I'm on the edge like, oh, you only accept 5 people? Bet. We got to accept 5 people.
I mean, like you said, it be like that sometimes, right? It be like that sometimes. And I just, like I said, I got tired of dealing with people, they're BS. And when I say BS, let me explain that. People will come into the program and they'll say, hey man, I'm ready to learn. And then a weekend, they're like, because see, I have a group chat and they're like, hey guys, what stock y'all getting in today? Hey, how do you buy a contract? And I'm like, it's in the course. You literally are not, you're not going through anything. So people, they're coming in expecting it just to be hand me down some money, tell me what y'all doing, right? How do you sell? I've had people enormous amounts of time. Hey, I'm stuck in this trade. How do I sell this option?
Yep.
It's in the course.
Well, and the thought too is you should have known that before you got into the trade. You should have known how to get out. And you should have known where you were going to get out before you got into the trade.
Yep.
So if you're calling me now, then that's a problem.
Yep. So, at this point, somebody said, where's DMV? That stands for DC, Maryland, Virginia. For those of you who don't know. But the thing about that is just, after a while, after you work, and after you work with a couple thousand people, you're like, you know what, it's getting on my nerves a little bit. Let me take a step back. So I did that for me. But to answer the person's question who asked me what I learned from Vegan Trainer is that I care more about people than I think I do, or than I say I do, because I retired. So when I was a vegan trainer, I was making like $100K a month, like just vegan training, right? And that's what made me start putting my money into the to the stock market, because I was like, I got to make sure this money is flipped. So I was flipping my vegan trainer money for a minute, and right before the crash happened this year, I had retired as a vegan trainer. Like I was done. I was like, I'm not taking no more people. I made my program free. That's how you knew I was retired. I made it into a way to where you can just go in and get it for free.
Y'all can have it.
Y'all can have it.
I don't have to talk to me.
Right. I don't want no more. Y'all can have it. Right. So I did that January this year, January 2020. And the market, so I kind of went quiet, and then the market started, falling because people were, losing their jobs. They made us stay at home. And here I am, every now and then I'll pop up on my Instagram and post a little, a profit, like, oh man, people are losing their jobs. I just made $20K today. And people were like, what the hell are you doing? Like that was like the thing. They were like, what are you doing? And I was like, well, I've been trading the stock market for years when I was a vegan trainer, but it wasn't vegan related, so I didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Right? And people were like, well, we losing our jobs out here, and you need to come teach us. Like, you need to teach this stuff because we need some help. And that's what made me start. So I just started Secure the Bag program in May.
Tell us a little bit about it. So in May, you started Secure the Bag. I want to know about it. Some people ask about it too.
Okay. So with the whole Secure the Bag thing, when I did start it, it was to help people to understand the market, because I often see when the market crashed, everybody ran. And I'm like, no. You need to be paying attention for your buy-in point. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, I can help people make some weekly money, some monthly money, right? And it won't really hurt me. So y'all gonna trip about this. You gonna trip too.
I'm ready.
I opened up my program, Secure the Bag, $50 a month.
What?
Yes.
No.
Yes, I started at $50 a month. And it was a strategy that I used, first of all, because this is how I used to do my vegan trainer program, right? I start, you make it cheap so that you can show people it works. So now I got testimonials. And then, and I told, see, some of y'all gonna hate, look, see, Leslie is locked in. So Leslie been with me for like 5 years. Leslie been around. Marcus is here. Marcus been around. These people been with me since vegan trainer. Okay, so they got locked in. What's up, Ashley? Girl in the
Oh,
building.
hey, Ashley.
Ashley in
Okay,
the
wait,
building.
real quick. Shout out to King Ashley. And
Shout out to King Ashley.
Tay and I met because we were in Accelerate 180 from Ashley Ann. And
That's
thank
right.
you so much, sis. Like, you are the best connector. You are just a gem and sister. Like, you are showing people how to be millionaires in the house. Like,
Facts.
just thank you for your ministry. Like, you so are amazing. So y'all, please go check out King Ashley Ann. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
That's right. Love that lady.
Yes. And y'all, and I'm sure there's some others in the building too. I haven't even been paying attention to the chat, but yes, love you so much, honey. Love you so much.
Facts.
Yes. But okay, so tell me about this $50 because I do not agree at all.
I know you don't. I
don't agree at all.
So
with investing stuff, I think it should be based off of how much the person stands to gain from what you're teaching them. So, like, if you're going to teach them, like, for us, we're trying to do $1,000 a day. Even if I teach you how to make $200 a day, that's $48,000 a year that I'm teaching you how to make. So, like, if I'm teaching you to make $48,000 a year for the rest of your life, you're going to give me more than $50.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, what? So, no. But keep talking.
So I love it. I love it.
Yes.
So I started out, because, see, I know how people think, because I had been, so with vegan training, I had worked with over like 15,000 people. So by this time, I got psychology like on lock. So I was like, okay, so I'm going to let y'all in starting at 50. And I told them since day one, my people who been here, y'all know what I said. I said, look, I'm going to start it at 50. Then I'm going to 200, 500, 1,000. These were planned. 1,000, 1,500. Now it's 2,500 a month if you want to join me. Or if you want to lock in, say, I take care of my people who commit. You can pay me $3,000 for 6 months or $5,000 for every 12 months.
Okay.
Right.
And I actually love that because I saw that about your program, and you were doing $5,000 a year, and my program is $5,000 and it's for a lifetime. But I love that it's $5,000 a year because, like we said, if you're making $48,000 or have the potential to make $48,000 plus, like one of my students said, he made $356,000 in like one day from my course.
Ashley said intro prices work.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I like that you do that. I like that yours is a yearly thing.
I agree with what you just said because the same way, when people come to me, they just found me. They're like, "You, how much a month?" I say, "I'm $2,500 a month because I want to tax you if you're gonna do the month to month thing. I don't want you jumping in and out. I go hard for my people. So if I'm gonna give you all of me, I want you to commit. So I'd rather you do 6 months for $3,000 or $5,000 for 12 months. Why? Because we make doctors' salaries over here, right? And I tell people all the time, I said, look, I know doctors right now, because I got a few of them in my course. I say, I know doctors right now. They make $300,000-400,000 a year. I know some that are surgeons that make $800,000 a year. And I said, they are $250,000 to maybe even up to $1 million in debt because of that, right? So if they paid $250,000 to make that type of money a year, then damn it, I want at least 10% of what I know I can make you. So that has always been my thing. So I said, okay, well, if I'm going to help you make $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year, because I got people, they're probably here right now. Sean in the building, Tyrone, who's a doctor. All of these people are over 6 figures in profits. Saul is here. Saul, he came in with $3,000 of stimulus money, and Saul is up to $140,000 right now in 4 months.
Congrats.
Right, thank you. And I appreciate my people for coming in and studying, because that y'all make me look good. This is not just me. Y'all gotta study this stuff, right? So I really appreciate my people who come in, and all of y'all. Same thing for for Teri. You go into her group. You gotta study to to get the benefits, right?
Yes, and those that are studying are killing it. Like I'm
Right.
seeing some in here that are killing it. Chris Calvin's in here. Like y'all are killing it. Like replacing income, paying off $90,000 of student loans, like killing
Facts.
it. But it's about
Facts.
studying. Like those are the people who want it. Like they also pay attention to the program. They're disciplined.
Right.
Because I know that you can easily mess up and make mistakes in trading. We're not saying that it's easy because it's not. And there are going to be times where you're feeling like, dang, I've had several losses in a row. Why, this isn't working. But keep going because it's a numbers game. Like, yes, you might lose a certain number, but then that next one is your 3-to-1 or your 5-to-1, reward. So keep pushing. It's how you're going to have to keep going. But I didn't mean to interrupt you, Tate. But actually, though, there is a video that you put out recently about why you don't trade for people. And I wanted you to share that, too, because I thought that was really, really good.
Oh, yeah. So I've been getting a lot of people because I'm around a lot of high net worth people now, especially that, people are like, hey, let me give you $100,000 and you just trade it for me. Hey, I had one guy, he said, I'm going to give you my net worth. Let me give you $1 million and you trade that for me. I'm like, first of all, you don't trust me with your net worth?
Right, all of it?
Right.
All of it, though? You ain't got none on the side? I'm just saying, but...
I'm like, whoa. But honestly, see, one of my clients, he said, yeah, we're doing 90% of it. Yeah, I tell people my win rate is 90%. So when they hear that, they're like, yeah, I'll give you my net worth if your win rate is 90%.
Yeah.
But the reason why I don't trade for people, first of all, is because not everybody is going to offer $100K, $500K, $1 million. Most people are like, hey, can I give you $5,000? I don't want to deal with your bullshit for $5,000. To be honest.
Not at all.
Right?
Not at all.
You're not going to be hitting me up.
I can make that in like 2 minutes, so not at all.
So I'm like, you're not going to be hitting me up talking about, where's my money? How's my $5,000 doing? How's my $10,000 doing? I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm not doing that for you, first of all.
I can see somebody ask you that recently. You still feeling some kind of way. Like,
so I'm like, you're not going to hassle me for your little ass $5,000. No. So secondly, what I have to tell them is that I'm putting in all the work. And it's because I was actually going to go get certified and become and start a hedge fund. So I was planning on doing that so I could trade for people. And then I got to thinking, I don't want to deal with that shit.
You don't like people like that.
I don't like people like that. Right? So I was like, you know what? Let me tell y'all why you don't want somebody trading for you. Because you can take, let's say you got $10,000, right? You take them $10,000 and somebody like me, I could get you 1,000% return on $10,000 in less than a year. That's easy. Right? And Teri, she'll vouch for me on that. Like we can do that all day. Right? So 1,000% on $10,000, that's $100,000. Right? Well, if I'm trading for you, I'm just going to promise you like 10%. Like, hey, I get you 10% a year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So now, at the end of the year, I'm still holding your $10K, but I made $100,000 off your $10K. And because I only promised you 10%, I'm going to just hand you $1,000 at the end of the year.
And you're going to be so excited because the market usually does 8 to 10, and this guy just gave me 10%. And you're going to feel like you won the world. And then that trader is going to be like, bam, I'm sitting up here with 90 extra thousand. Thank you so much.
Yep. And this is the hustle. And if you want to check behind me on this hustle, go look at Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio is a billionaire because of that. He started a hedge fund when he was young. He started trading people's money. He promised them a small amount of money. He kept the rest of it. That's why I think he got like $16 billion net worth. Ray Dalio, go check him out. Right? This is the same guy who was coaching Diddy. P. Diddy, for those of y'all who don't know. P. Diddy hired Ray Dalio to coach him on how to get his money right. So y'all do y'all study. That's a little, that's a little homework for y'all. But Ray Dalio is a beast. Don't get me wrong. But Ray Dalio is a beast because he made off. I ain't gonna call him Bernie Madoff, but he made off with a lot of people's money legally because people were too lazy to take it upon themselves to learn how to trade and make their own money. Exactly.
Right.
So that's why I won't trade people's money for them. That's why I don't do that because, first of all, I'd rather empower you so you can keep all the money,
Mm-hmm.
right? So why don't you just pay me or Teri to teach
No.
you, seriously, to teach you how to do it for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll be good. You don't have
Yep.
to worry about that.
And I remember you saying something in the video about like we have a show me mentality or what it was something you said, somebody should mentality. We
Oh, yeah, yeah,
always
yeah. Oh,
say
yeah.
somebody should do
Oh,
this
yeah.
and somebody
That's one of the things that irk me and really, it pisses me off, to be honest, because it's something we have as a people. And what I'm getting at is we'll see somebody. That's right, Ashley. We helping the people. You know how we do it.
Yes.
But we'll see
Dropping gems.
somebody, or it won't even be somebody. We'll see something that needs to get done, and our people will go, man, somebody needs to step up and handle that. Man, I wish somebody, I wish somebody would get up there and go against Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we need a black president. I wish somebody go up there and run, right? Somebody needs to learn how to, and I'm like, whoa, why don't you do it?
Right. Right.
And that bothers me because the reason why I say this is because when people come into my group and they're like, hey, so what should I buy? I'm like, no. I'm not your,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not your leader. Don't make me your leader. Don't make me your damn, no. The reason why I say that is because we as a people have been leaning on leaders so long that we lean on them so much, they kill that one leader and then you right back to square one.
Right.
So
because you don't know how to do it for yourself.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So I'm just like, no, we got to learn this game for ourselves. And I always tell my people, if you're in Secure the Bag, I always say this. I'm trying to create another 200 me's. So if I can get 200 Tays in one group, we're going to be a dangerous group. We're going to take a lot of money out the market.
Right. That's my big goal. I'm like, if 1,000 of us are making $1,000 a day, that's $1 million a day that we're generating. Like we can change the world with that. Then we can actually make a dent in our own neighborhoods. We don't have to ask for nobody else. We're not waiting for a stimulus. We're not waiting for reparations. We're making our own money to generate and build our own communities.
Let me tell you something about that reparations.
Tell me.
Let me tell y'all something. Reparations is here. They just not going to make it easy. They're not going to hand it over. It's already here. It's in the market.
Right?
It's in the market. They just seriously, there was a $5 trillion wealth exchange. That means somebody had $5 trillion and somebody got it. A group of somebodies, right? Between my group, Secure the Bag, and Teri's group, we probably got about
a good
10% at least of
right. We got a good trillion. No, I'm just
right. But seriously, like it's here. It's here. We gotta go get it, right? We gotta go get it, especially before this digital or this currency reset, because there will be a currency reset coming.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're sitting on your money, because I get a lot of people say, "Hey, Tay, I got money in the bank, but I'm scared to do anything with it." I say, y'all better start moving it around because it will lose value.
Okay, let's talk about that because are you also thinking about the fact that I think the dollar is going to lose value right now with all of the debt that we just put into our economy? Like first of all, we were going into this year with a huge debt and now we just approved all these more trillions dollars worth of debt. Like the dollar soon is going to be worthless. It's not going to mean like you guys know there's like the supply and demand is what we talk about. When you have a whole bunch of dollars in the economy, now all of a sudden they're not worth as much as they used to be when you had just a little bit of dollars in the economy. So the fact that they're just throwing money and printing money, that's lowering the value of our dollar. So yeah, you may have $1 million in the bank, but what can it buy you? You know, they're starting to talk about inflation and things. Like what will it be able to buy you in a couple years? Like that same million may not go as far. So
facts. And it's history repeats itself. And this is what I like about the stock market because people ask me about crypto and they ask me about Forex. Do you trade those? I say no, because there's not enough history for me. Like I like history. So I can look in the stock market and I can see what happens in the stock market when there's a Great Depression, because the stock market was here around the Great Depression. I'm going to stock market and see what happened when, World War II was going on, or when whatever, right? Well, I like history because the dollar and overall systems, governments and systems repeat themselves as well, right? And what happened is, I'm not going to give it all to y'all, but what you can do is go search the 20s, 1920s, okay? Germany 1920s, and you'll find some stories about people taking a wheelbarrow and taking their money to the grocery store so they can go grocery shop. Yes, it took a wheelbarrow of money to buy a loaf of bread and some cans of food. Yeah.
Whoa.
And it was their dollar or their currency that they had was so devalued that people would turn over the wheelbarrow and kick the money down the street and take the wheelbarrow. That's how, like, because it was more valuable. That worthless. Right.
I'm gonna leave that coin there because it don't mean nothing, and I'm gonna take this wheelbarrow.
I see one of y'all got it already. Somebody just mentioned it, but yeah, seriously. So that's a story I want y'all to look at, for one. For two, it also happened. There you go, in Zimbabwe, right? It takes like $3 trillion to buy like a thing of eggs in Zimbabwe. Like, it's crazy. They literally have a $1 trillion bill. And even that won't buy you a burger, or for my vegan folks, a vegan burger. You can't buy a vegan burger with $1 trillion of Zimbabwe money. That's how bad it is. When I went to Bali, I was over in Bali. I gave the lady $100. She gave me over $1 million of their dollars, right? So this is what happens, okay? This is what happens. Now, if you read through history, you'll see that during these times, especially the one in Germany. I like to refer to the one in Germany because it seems very similar to what we got going on now. They introduced a new type of currency, Bitcoin. They introduced a new type of currency. Now, I'm not a trader of cryptocurrency. So when people are like, Bitcoin, let's trade crypto. I don't trade crypto. I trade stocks and I hold crypto. Only Bitcoin though. Only Bitcoin. Okay. That's all I hold. And the only reason why I do that is because I've done some studying on the halving. They call it the halving, which is basically when they make Bitcoin. And how halving is about to stop, which means they won't make any more Bitcoin for life. So the less Bitcoin you have and the more demand you have means it grows in value. But the opposite is happening with money. Right. So the dollar, you hold on to, $100K in the bank, and they printing shit so fast that you are literally losing 3% of your money a year. It's just churning. So this is something that's going on. I won't go too deep into it. I want y'all to go do your own homework. But,
I will. Go ahead. I will say one thing that I found recently, and y'all, this is kind of hot off the presses, so I don't have all the information, and disclaimer, all the stuff we're saying is for educational purposes only. We're not telling you to do anything. But I will say that recently, so I'm not a crypto person either. I run away from it. I think like you can't trade it because I can't read the chart on it. And so if I can't read the chart, then I'm not trading it. But I will say recently TradeStation opened up an account where you can, it's almost like a savings account, but you can change your money from US dollars to USDC. It's US dollar coins. And so it's backed by the dollar, which is nice, but it has an interest rate. And so I've been able to move some significant money into USDC coins, and it gives me a 4% interest rate, which is better than a savings account. So I will put that out there. That's the only crypto that I'm doing. But I mean, it is making an interest for me. So like if y'all want to check out, I know TradeStation has that with the USDC coins. But have you heard of something like that? Because I that's the only crypto that I do.
Now, I'm gonna go on and drop a little something on y'all. Because I said I was going to bring some sauce today. I said I was going to bring the nuggets, but I'm gonna give you some sauce with the nuggets, all right?
I'm ready. Come on. No.
So I want to say this first, just to say, hey, if it happens, I told you so. I don't know how soon it's going to happen, though, because a lot of stuff has to come into play. I just told y'all earlier that in order to have a digital currency, a true digital currency, which they're calling Fed coin. They're trying to create a digital currency called Fed coin. So it will probably compete with Bitcoin. But the reason why I say I don't know when it's coming is because they got to get blockchain technology set up enough to protect it. So if they drop money into your account, they need you to be able to say, or they need to be able to say, hey, like, we can protect this. Because, you know, in some cryptos, they just go in there and just steal you. You know? Like, if you don't know how to protect your Bitcoin or your crypto, they can take it. With blockchain technology, as it gets better, it's more protection. Okay?
Okay.
Now, I told you they need 5G to be able to run autonomous cars, to be able to fully process and utilize true cryptocurrency or true digital currency. And what I think is about to happen is they keep stalling what we call kicking the ball down the road, kicking the rock down the road.
Kicking the can.
Yeah, kicking the can down the road. They are stalling right now because I think what they're going to do is starve people out long enough to make them accept anything they're willing to give just to get that money. So what I think...
explain a little bit more.
Right. So what I think is about to happen is they may starve... So everybody's waiting on a new stimulus, right? And Trump just came out and said, ain't going to be no stimulus until I get elected again. Right? So a lot of people are like, well, oh my God, like he's bold. He's saying basically vote for me or you ain't getting no stimulus. Let me tell you something. It don't matter who in office, you're going to get a stimulus. But
right. The Democrats already voted on it, so
facts. You're going to get a stimulus. What I think is happening, and I could be absolutely wrong, okay? But what I see in my little crystal ball is that they are going to kick the can down the road so long that you're like, man, I'm starving. I need this money. I need this money. So when they show up with money, like, hey, everybody, we have a stimulus. We have come to a conclusion.
Save the day.
That's right. We're here to save the day. We're going to give you a stimulus package now. However, see, now they're going to make it conditional. If it's ready, they'll say, download this app and we'll drop it to your phone. Okay? I think that's what they're trying to prepare everybody for, right? Because see, without the scarcity, many people would fight it. I ain't doing no digital currency. What you mean? But if I got $2,000 for you that I'm gonna drop in your phone, oh, you gonna download that app? If they got $2,000 of stimulus, yeah, it's brilliant. And see, I watch how they move. Honestly, that's where a lot of my success comes from the stock market because I watch how they move. And I can play before they make the move. But I see this coming. So we're invested already in 5G technology that creates things like the fiber optics, which is a glass cable, pretty much, that they put in the ground so you can run 5G. There's a company that makes all the glass for that and that makes the glass for all of the new COVID vaccines. So all your little COVID vaccine bottles, they make the bottles for that. Y'all got to do your own damn homework. I ain't going to give you that one.
Right. We're going to Google that. We're going to Google that today.
That's right.
Who makes the lines for the 5G? Okay.
That's right. So they do really good. But this is what I see coming. By the way, that company has an amazing balance sheet. By the way, they make like $24 billion a year. Really good balance sheet. And they keep most of it. They don't spend a lot of it. So that's the best part. So this is what I see coming. Fedcoin is on the way. If you've been keeping your eyes open, they've been paying a lot of contracts to people like Microsoft. Okay? Microsoft has a nice contract with government. There's a lot of things going on if you just pay attention. Apple's getting ready to release their new phone. Not release, but they're going to show you. They're going to, hey, this is what it looks like. This is what it's going to do. It's coming. I think it came out today.
October 13th. I thought October 13th.
No. I'm saying the headline came out today. The headline of them, it came out today. So I think this just me. Once again, I like to do it in real time so y'all know I ain't crazy. All right. So in real time, I'm piecing
I mean, you're
stuff
still
together.
crazy, but we just, no, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Hey, look. Sometimes I gotta ask myself, am I crazy? Like, am
A
I
little
the
bit.
only
Be
one
like,
seeing this?
I do that too. I'll be looking in the mirror. I'm like, is she for real? Yeah, she's right. No, I'm just like,
Seriously. And look, to be honest with you, this is something I tell people all the time, that you kind of got to be a conspiracy theorist to be in the stock market. You can't believe everything you see in the news is what I'm saying.
yeah.
Because I give you, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. I was going to say, especially if you're a fundamentalist.
Right.
If you're a
Exactly.
fundamental person thinking for the longer term, then you have to kind of know where things are going. If you're like thinking for 5 minutes, then you just, sometimes you don't need to know all the future. But if you're thinking for, some years in advance, yeah, that's important.
Because it's a lot of manipulation in the market. It's a lot of manipulation in the market. And I tell people, I'll give you a great example. When the text was running off, we were looking at, because see, Beyond had dipped. Because remember, they run opposite. So when texts were running, it had dipped. So I was like, oh, we're going to grab Beyond.
Yeah.
And for the longest, Beyond was one of my babies. I've made 6 figures on Beyond by itself, just going up and down with it. Right. And the thing had ran up to $253 from $50 last year. It came back down to 50. It spiked back up to 160, which we caught that big move. That was a big move we caught. It spiked back up to 160. And then from 160, it went to 140, 120. And it did this little consolidation for months. And people were like, Tay, what's going on with Beyond? I said, they're throttling Beyond. And people didn't know what that meant until I explained it.
Yeah, it just stayed in range.
That throttling Beyond. And see, this is where my little crazy conspiracy theorists kick in, but I'm always right with it. They're like, what does that mean, Tay? They're throttling Beyond. I said, well, let's think about it. Let's keep it simple. I said, if we got money and we got homeboys, we got golfing buddies, we got brother-in-laws, we got, people that work in higher places, I could say, hey, I got some homeboys over there at Citigroup. I got some homeboys over here at Barring that will do articles for me if I need to throttle the market. Right? We got people, and I've personally seen it happen, but we got people who will put in calls and they'll do all type of things and say, hey, have y'all ever seen, and y'all can see, you'll understand what I'm saying. Have y'all ever seen Citigroup or somebody, and they'll say, we've downgraded Beyond stock to 121. And then everybody freaks out and they start selling it, and then it
goes straight to 121.
Straight to 121.
But somebody had a friend who already knew that was about to happen.
Facts. And if you watch the level 2s, it's a little more game I'm gonna give y'all. If you watch the level 2s or your time of sales, and you watch some of the things that go through in the time of sales, you'll see big orders going through. 100,000 or 200,000 shares, 500,000 shares. And you're like, oh, y'all loading up. Not only that, you can go over to certain places like Benzinga.com. If you learn how to use Benzinga, I teach that in my course. You learn how to use Benzinga for fundamentals. You can put in a stock like Beyond, and then you can filter it for insider trades, and it'll tell you every insider trade that just happened. If the director just bought something, if the CEO just bought something, whoever bought something as an insider trader, it'll tell you right there under every company you want to search.
Which is nice.
Right. So.
And go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead. Oh, I was just thinking, and I'm pretty sure when you saw that drop in Beyond, you probably saw somebody from McDonald's buying the stock because they knew that their other company was about to announce that we're going to start selling burgers from Beyond. And then, or KFC, we're going to start doing these from Beyond. They know years ahead of time, like, or at least months before we know. So, yeah. A lot of that stuff is manipulated. That doesn't mean that we're telling you can't trade, because you can, but it's about being able to like watch the charts and know that like some of that news is manipulated for people to move the stock how they want it to move.
And it's part of the game, because so let me tell you something. I've been trading small cap stocks. Excuse me. I've been day trading small cap stocks for years, right? So if you go back into day trading with small cap stocks, they manipulate it on that side too. It's just we manipulate it as, so I'll give you a great example. We manipulate it because it's easier. They have what's called lower floats. With a lower float, that means it's kind of like a rock. If I have a rock the size of my hands, we'll just say where I'm holding my hands right now. If I have a rock, and if I go and throw that rock in the ocean and make a little baby splash, right? A little baby splash, boop, right? Nothing. Well, that essentially is what happens to a large cap stock that has a bunch of shares, a large float. I throw my little rock in that ocean, which is my money. I throw my money in that ocean, and it's like, boop, it doesn't affect it at all, right? But if I take that same amount of money or that rock and I drop it in a small puddle in the middle of the street, I can take all the water out that puddle because I just dropped a nice sized rock in it.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happens in the small cap world. When we day trade small cap stocks, I can throw $50,000 to $100,000 at a stock, and I can go buy 40,000 shares of a $2 stock, and I can drive that stock up by myself. Oh yeah, I drive it up by myself, right? And that registers on the scanners that I told y'all about. So now they're starting. So if I got a stock called XYZ that's $2, and I got $500,000, and I go buy a crap ton of that stock at $2 each, what'll happen is on the stock scanner it'll say XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. As it moves up, it'll keep saying it. XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. So now all the other traders come over, they start buying XYZ because they're trying to get it to go up. Mm-hmm. And then I sell it. I sell the stock of XYZ and leave. We call them bag holders. We leave y'all with the bags, right? So the same thing happens on the other side or on the higher level, right? But it just take a lot more money
to do that.
Exactly.
Well, and this is the same thing, guys. Like, this is why we tell you, try to buy stocks that have a lot of volume, because then you can't have like one trader manipulating the stock like this.
Right.
But if you have like even AutoZone doesn't have a lot of volume. So like one trader can come in with a big order and push it really fast. So you have to be careful of trading ones that have low volume. And that's also why I don't particularly like penny stocks, because you do have people kind of pumping and dumping it, like pumping it up and then dumping it like this.
Absolutely. And see, this is me keeping my head on a swivel. When the market first crashed, see, they tell us these things. Y'all just got to keep your eyes open for it. They said right now, after the crash, right now, there's over $5 or $6 trillion sitting on the sidelines.
I've been hearing them talk about that. How much money is not at play.
Right. So I don't think of it. See, what most people do is they'll go to the fact that, oh, well, that's because the stock market was falling, so they were pulling their money out. What I think is there's a group of homeboys at the top with a shit ton of money. We call them the Billionaires boy, Billionaire Boy Club, right? And I personally think that if we want to manipulate the market, because see, it's not illegal to pump and dump if you don't go out and talk about it. Like if I buy a stock and then I say, hey, go get this one, go get this one, go get this one. And then when you go get it, the stock moves up, I sell it. That's a pump and dump. That's illegal, right?
Yeah.
However, it's not illegal if I got 10 homeboys and homegirls and we all got $10 billion in the stock market, and I say, hey, y'all pull all of y'all positions out. Pull all the positions out. Let's manipulate some shit. And you pull out, that's $100 billion that you pull out the market. Of course, stuff starts to fall. And it creates a domino effect. It falls, and then more falls, and then more falls, right? And then now people are chasing it. Chase. So when we want the stock market to come back, we just say, all right, now y'all put your money back in there.
Right. Everybody come back.
Yeah, everybody come back. It's cheap now. Go and put your, they put it back in, stock market goes up. So
honestly, I think that's what the president does in general. I think he has like a little somebody else who knows what's going on, but cannot be directly tied, that says Trump is about to make this announcement. And then those guys go do whatever they're going to do with their money, get in the right position, and then the announcement comes out, and it's like, they know this.
And see, I like to give my guys credit. So for those of y'all who watch EYL, I rock with Ian.
Hey, shout out to EYL.
Right.
Shout out to
guys.
Ian Dunlap. Shout out to Mark Monroe.
So I give them credit, anytime.
Shout out to Trapper, Wall Street Trapper.
Shout out to Trapper. Can't forget about Trap. But
Yes.
anytime one of those guys says something, because we pretty much a family. We all
Mhm.
try to bounce stuff off of each other. And anytime I hear one of them say something that I haven't come by yet, or mentioned, or anything like that, I got to give them credit for it. And one of those things is Ian mentioned how the presidential election is going to be based on how well the stock market is doing, the S&P
Oh, for
500,
sure.
right?
For sure.
And that's one of those things that's a fundamental play that because I'm not a fundamental trader, I never really paid attention to. So when he said it, I was like, makes sense, right? So now I'm getting in my head. I'm like, that makes sense, because this, and that. So, of course, what I'm getting at is, of course, the stock market is manipulated, right? There are definitely games that play in it, and I'm okay with it because I get my money.
You can still make money. Like,
Yeah.
that's the key. Like,
Mm-hmm.
although we're saying it's manipulated, it is. But that doesn't mean that you can't play. Like, that's why Tay and I are here. That's why we teach you these things, because we want you to ride along too.
Facts.
If everybody else is making money, you should be making money too. Like
Facts.
we know, like, we can look at some stuff and be like, oh, the market about to fall. Like, today I knew exactly where the S&P was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
The chart like telegraphed where it was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
But some stuff was just Trump making his announcement, and then his friends today coming back and saying, oh no, we're going to try to push stimulus to go through. That kind of stuff. Like, you think that it's news, but it's not. Like, the market tells you what to do.
Right. It does. So, so that, overall, that's why I'm always pushing, knowing your trading plan. And if you don't know, somebody asked it earlier, which is why I wanted to talk about this. If you don't know what your trading plan is, you got to find one. You got to come up with one. I suggest all my people who come in, I have like a threshold of money that I like to play with. So if you have $10 or less, you should find you a long-term play, sit in it while you study, and let that money work for you long-term. That's usually my thing, right? Now, long-term for me can be 6 months. Because I usually tell people anyway, give me 6 months to study, and then you can start playing like short-term, right? Now, if you got more than $10,000, now what I start doing is I start breaking you up. I say, hey, if you got 15, take 10, go long-term option contracts, and then we're going to take 5 and we're going to trade it day by day. We'll trade it. What this does is, if it's a hedge, so I'm teaching people how to hedge on a small level. What this does is, if you are in, let's just say Apple, right? If you're in Apple for a 2-year contract, and then you lost the little $5,000 you was trading with, now you sit back and keep studying because you just lost your trading money. That's okay. But Apple will return you the $5,000 you lost plus some within that 2 years, right? Yeah. So it's a hedge that I like to use for a lot of people. So
Oh, no, go ahead. I was just going to say, which makes sense. Like, I have to shout out Mark for that. Like, Mark taught me about the leaps. I was very much an active investor doing the shorter term day and swing trading. And he's like, no, I want you to invest in Tesla for 2023. And I was like, but Mark, that's going to take all my buying power up. And he's like, just watch. Just watch.
I agree with him.
Y'all know how he is. Just watch.
I agree with him. The only thing that I'm waiting on, because I'm waiting on a Tesla contract as well. But guess what? Tesla's finna fall. Tesla's gonna fall. It's got to go down to like 2. I think, just mark my words. It should go down to like 284. 284 is the range. When it hits 284, as a matter of fact, I'll start buying it at like 300. Because I know that sometimes the gap doesn't fill all the way. But we got a gap up on a daily chart between like 240 and 280. I'm waiting on it to hit that gap. So but I do agree that Tesla's going to be a beast in 2 years. Absolutely.
It was. So what's crazy is I don't think Tesla's the only one that's going to drop. I actually think the whole market is going to drop.
Especially the tech
I'm
stocks.
just like, waiting. I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna short the S&P. I'm just like waiting for the momentum to kind of turn back around. So to me, everything is gonna drop, and then when it does, we're gonna make a lot of money.
Facts. Because if you look at a lot of your monthly charts, so if you go in, a lot of us use TradingView. You go into take and see the future. I mean, I just study, family. That's all.
Hey, the Wheel of Wall Street. hey, how you doing?
I see y'all. So a lot of people who are looking at TradingView, go to your monthly chart, okay? And what I want you to do is look at the MACD on most of your stocks, and you'll see the MACD is slowly curling down, right? You'll see on a lot of these stocks, they're already overbought. You'll see that curling down. And I'm going to give y'all a little, this might piss off some of my people, but I got to do it, family.
You gotta get some more sauce.
I got to get some more sauce.
We ready. Oh, wait, let me get, I got some Gatorade today.
There you go.
Okay, go ahead.
There you go. So on your RSI, which is your relative strength index, on your RSI, you can also draw support and resistance lines on the RSI. If you are in a stock and you want to know where it's going to stop falling, what you want to do, I always say connect 3 points. So look at your RSI, and when it hits down, connect 3 points, and that is a line that is going to be respected on your RSI for support and resistance. So now, if a stock is falling and you're wondering where to get out, so if you're shorting it or if you have a put option, you're like, where is this going to stop falling at? Look at your RSI support, and you'll see it may bounce off that RSI. And it may do a dead cat bounce. For those of you who don't know what that is where when the stock market falls, it bounces a little bit and then it continues to fall lower. So that's how we get this thing going. Look, some of my people are like, Teri, what are you doing? And,
but everybody else is like, we're learning so much from this live. And don't worry. Like, to tell you the truth, and this is where people need to understand, you could tell your whole course on the live, and 90% of the people are not going to do it.
No, they're not.
And they're going to come back to you the next week listening to the live, and they're going to say, well, how do I do this? And how much do I need to have in? And when do I get into the stock? And you're like, I literally told you the whole game.
The whole game.
But some people like just don't take initiative. They don't get off the sideline. And okay, random quick caveat, Bible study caveat, but like, you know the parable with the talents and how like two of the people went and immediately started trading with them and they doubled their money, and the other one went and hid his thing in the dirt. There's a whole bunch of people that God is giving you these gems. He is giving you the wisdom to get into a better situation in your wealth, but you're hiding it because you're afraid. And when the opportunity comes, you're going to be sitting there with the same amount of money you had before this live, because you didn't take any initiative to actually do something with what we're giving you. Right. And I know that it may sound really confusing. I know it may sound kind of abstract, but that's why we have courses. Tay has a course and I have a course. Like, his is called Secure the Bag. Mine is called Trade and Travel. But guys, if you want to know this information, it's here. Like, we're teaching it to you. We're giving it to you. Like, learn. But just, you got to take initiative. So I'm just saying, Tay, like, no matter how many gems you drop, there's only going to be a few people on here that take the initiative. And I pray that more of them actually do, so that they can learn some things.
Absolutely. Somebody just asked me about a book. To be honest with y'all, I don't usually suggest beginners to read trading books, because usually you're not going to know what the hell you're reading, right? A lot of times. What I usually suggest y'all start reading is self-help books to change your mindset. So, for example, there's one book I like that's called Killing Sacred Cows. And Killing Sacred Cows basically talks about how you can't continue to follow what your granddaddy taught you, or what your mama taught you, because it's a sacred cow. It's something that's been followed for a while, but it's antiquated, it's old, it's outdated. The market doesn't work like that. For example, If your granddad put money into a bank account or into a savings account to make money, they were getting 17% on their money in a bank account, right? Back in the day. But now you put your money in a bank account, you ain't getting nothing.
Nothing.
You ain't getting nothing. So,
Mm-mm.
so I usually don't tell people to go try to learn trading in a book. And the reason why I say that is because it's much better to kind of watch. Like, that's why I'm always sharing my screen so I can show you all how did I draw that line. What does a hammer candle look like? What does a shooting star look like? What does a bullish engulfing candle look like? And what does that mean? I need to explain it in our language, right? Because we have a culture that some people can't really reach us. They can't reach us, right? So they might talk, and it's nothing against anybody who wears like, suits and stuff. I think suits are awesome, and I encourage people to do that. But for me, one reason why you never see me in a suit, one of the reasons why you see I still got my braids, I still have my Southern slang, because I speak like you. I'm who you are. I'm the same person you are at home, right? I do it for my culture, right? You see me out in person, I got on Nikes, and you know what I mean? Like, I'm chilling. And they're like, wait a minute, this dude make how much money? You look like a regular dude. That's
right. We talked about that last time. Both of us had on like black shirts.
Yep.
Like, oh wait, you make 8 figures?
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's what it's about, is just making sure, first of all, I stay relatable, but at the same time, just making sure that I need to get what I'm saying across, right? Somebody said DC ain't soft. I ain't from DC. You just got here. I'm from Nashville. I live in DC now, right?
He's like, I still rep Nashville.
That's right.
Don't
That's
do
right.
that to me.
That's right.
Don't put that on me.
Let me tell you something. I love DC, but you can never forget where you come from. Right?
Now, what made you make the move?
Oh, actually, my wife. She had a job, a much better job offer here at one of the universities here. So we came on up here, and she's always wanted to live here, and so it's cool. I like it. It's got more black people here.
Right?
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. More black people here. More progressive black people here. I'll tell you something. When I was in Nashville, I felt like an outlier. I felt like an outsider. I felt like I was weird, right? I was vegan. I played basketball still, but I was, I'd be in there stretching. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? I was different. I was advanced, right? So like, wait a minute, you vegan? You kind of like
stretched.
You stretching. Like, what kind of hippie shit is this? Right? Like, what do you mean you read books? So I'm around these guys and they just not understanding. Like, to be honest, like our culture back in Nashville, we're a little behind. I got up here, everybody doing some of the same stretches I'm doing on the court. I'm like, oh shit, y'all on the same thing, right?
They don't want to pull up muscle.
Exactly. Like, I noticed, I was like, I fit in a lot more here because I was a little more progressive as a black man, right? So, I like it up here. It's pretty cool. You in Texas, right?
I'm in Texas. Texas, we got a lot of black people too.
Okay.
I'm in a neighborhood right now where I thought it was mostly white people, but I've been walking around and I've been seeing all the black folks, and I'm like, we out here.
I love it. I love it. Love it.
But wait, what did you mean when you said you can't reach us? You said it's kind of hard for people to reach us. What does that mean?
So I'll give you a great example of what I used to go through. People can't reach us a lot of times because they're square, they're green, they're we don't really want to be like them, if that makes sense. So for example, where I come from, we praised drug dealers and we praised athletes. Why? They got all the women, they had all the cool shoes, they got to drive all the nice cars, right? Yeah. They did all the things that we liked, especially as youngsters growing up. So when I see a doctor, black man, who's a doctor or a lawyer or somebody who he looked like he done changed himself. He done cut off his beard. He got to have a clean cut. He got a little suit on. He driving this little square ass. Nothing against anybody who drives a Prius, but this motherfucker driving a Prius now. We like, bro, we don't want to be like you. You square. We don't. That's right. No swag. We don't want to be like you. We can't relate. We're not the same person. And where I'm from, we call it frying. So if you come in the hood, we're going to fry your ass. for driving that car.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you come here wearing them shoes, we're gonna fry you for wearing them shoes. Where your Jordans at? Where your Air Max at? Right? We want the nice shit. So we couldn't relate to a lot of people who were trying to leave but doing it different than how we looked. Right? So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, so you telling me the only way to get out and by not playing basketball or selling drugs is to change who I am and change the way I talk? So now I got a code switch. Hey, how's it going, guys? Right?
Right.
Like I got a code switch now. I don't want to do that. Right? Chris, what's up, my man? I see you in the building. So that's what I meant by people. I couldn't relate doing something like that. So I continue to be my same self. I continue the same Nashville, Deep South Ebonics, right? I still say y'all. People like,
right? Of course we say y'all.
Exactly.
Ain't nobody trying to be proper. Right? You ain't gotta have the you.
You know, my wife sometimes she messes with me. She'll say, Tay, that's not the politically correct thing to say. I said, well, I'm not a politician, baby. And I tell her that all the time. I'm gonna cuss at you sometimes because that's how we talk. It's not, and honestly, I do that on purpose also because I got to get you out your feelings. Plus,
you just need emphasis. Sometimes you just need emphasis. Like, I used to have times where I would go in, like, people were like, Terry, you don't cuss. I ain't never heard you cuss. Y'all just don't know. Sometimes I go in my room and I shut the door and I just cuss up a storm because sometimes you just need emphasis on what you're trying to say. It just don't sound right unless you use the right words.
Because, you growing up, your mama say, hey, come over here and sit down. You look at her like, you don't mean that. But if she say, get your ass over here and sit down,
she mean it. Right.
Let me go on over here. Let me go on over here and sit down real quick, right? So, yeah, so I continue to talk the way I talk. I continue to be who I am. That's right, be you. And I've always been this authentic, even when I was vegan training, right? And that's what draws people to me because some people are not going to like when I say this because we don't like who he is. We never really liked who he was. But one of the ways Donald Trump got in office is because he was brutally honest. We were like, a lot of people were like, look, I know half these damn presidents don't like me, but they won't say it. Donald Trump was like, fuck y'all. Like, right? He's like, I don't care. How about that? And then you're like, huh.
And he said that?
Right.
Then we get mad like he said
exactly.
it. And it's like,
exactly. And see, I was one of those people where I was like, well, at least I can respect him for telling me the truth. Because I knew none of them liked me anyway. But see, y'all come in, y'all play your little saxophones. I ain't going to say no names. But they play saxophones with black people. And they come in and they do this buck dancing for us. And then we get cool with them. And then they jab us under the table. Right? They hit us with the knife under the table. So when we heard somebody who came out and who was serious and they were telling us the truth, like, fuck y'all, I don't care, make America great again. It was like, he's a piece of shit. And I know that because he's telling me now, right? So it's
at
a
least
different,
we know it.
exactly. So it's a different spin.
I still don't want to be my president, but
exactly.
I'm just saying.
Exactly. So I feel like that's kind of how he got that seat because even though he was an asshole, he was openly an asshole. And people as a whole were tired of being lied to from the other people because everybody else was lying. Oh, we're going to do these things. We're going to rally for black people and we're going to do it. And then when they get in office, nobody does anything, right? And then you look at, I don't want to get political here, but you just look at all the things, right?
I'm letting you talk about it for like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
the debate is on.
Yeah.
So somebody couldn't watch the debate. So I was like, okay, I'm going to let Tate go on and talk about this for a second.
But that's just how I look at things, and I see, because I like human psychology. That's what makes me as successful as I am, because sometimes it takes a little human psychology or being able to project human psychology when trading. Because if the market falls, I'm like, oh, y'all finna sell this shit. And I'll sell it some more, right? I see a bearish engulfing candle. Oh, there we go. So sometimes psychological play is always in the market. So that's kind of what I get into too. So
Now, quick question, because I know we are getting close to the end. Mm-hmm. And here I'm going to end this one. So tell me this. How has it been now that you've become, so I know that you were like making millions with the vegan trainer, but now like you're coming into this new world of trading and courses. well, you've been trading for a while, but courses, and so now you're making multi-millions. Like, how has that impacted your life?
That's a good question. It has furthered my freedom. Sometimes I wake up and, every day I do a gratitude session, right? Where I talk about, just a lot of people are always praying for stuff. Like, I need this. I want this. Please help me with this. I just give thanks. Like, damn, like, thank you for this and that, my health, So with doing what I'm doing now, it has just opened up and shown me how free you really can be with this life. It's sometimes I go at 9 a.m., sometimes I go at 1 p.m., but it's in the middle of a work day and I'm outside on a basketball court shooting around, just bullshitting, right? That's the best feeling ever. Yeah. I got Wi-Fi in the car, in the truck. So if I look at my watch or if I pick up my phone while I'm shooting ball, I'll look at my phone and see I need to get out of the trade. I'll go back to the car or I'll pull up my phone. I'll get out the trade. And it's like, this is so freeing. Like, I just made $20K playing basketball.
Yes.
So that has been a really good thing for me. How about you?
I think that, like, it's given me this peace. And I know that money's not supposed to bring you peace. Like, definitely it's a mindset. And I had peace when I was in education too, like just making $60,000, or even at times, you move from city to city, they try to lower your salary. So then it's like $45,000 because you're in Texas. And I was like, what? I was just making $60,000 in Chicago. What is this? But I think now I have this piece of, like, I'm stable. I have, retirement set aside in the bank, that my house is paid off because I paid for it in cash. Like, I have no debt. I'm debt free. And so now it's kind of like Teri, what do you want in this world? So recently I decided that I'm going to work for my businesses to go from 10 million to 100 million. And that's okay. Like, I can do that because, like, otherwise what you're going to be doing, you're going to sit at home, like, bored. So, but now it's like, okay, I'm going to build a team, and I'm now thinking through org charts and structures of, who are all the people that I'll be able to employ. So now I think that there's this, and I have to admit, it was a little hard to walk into, because I felt like, is this gonna, go away soon? Is this gonna last? Like, I recently hit 8 figures. Oh my God. Like, what is that? Like, and then the thought is the shoe is going to drop soon. So, like, there's gotta be, like, the other side. Like, there's like, I know you and I both, we didn't grow up like this. I had a single mom, and we had to have my grandmother in the house because we needed an additional income. So it's like, we were sharing McDonald's. So I know what it feels like not to have. And so now I know, like the Bible, I know what it is not to have and be content. I know what it is to have a lot and be content. So now I'm getting this chance to kind of redesign what I want my life to look like. And that's kind of cool. That's really cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about stress-free. That's it. That's it. And a lot of people, somebody just asked, that's a great question. What's your goal for the next 2 years? That's a good one. What do you think that is?
For me, I definitely want to build this $100 million company. So trade and travel, and then my own trade. Like, I have several streams of income. I'm a realtor as well, so I make money on real estate. I make money on rental property. I was a Airbnb host, super host for a little while, so I have, like, this whole real estate side. And then I have my trading side, and then I have trade and travel, the course. So, like, I have lots of interest, but I think right now I really want to take trade and travel to being $100 million company. And not so much for myself, but I just think, like, it can impact so many people. Like, I'm seeing how their lives are changing. Like, I'm seeing people that are starting, even if they're just making $100 a day, Like that's allowing them to have the freedom to send their kids to college, to pay off their debt. Like one of the students, he's like, Teri, all I need is $1,000 a month so my kid can go to this special private school.
Right.
Like that kind of stuff is revolutionary. So I really want to see our students hit that. Like if we're really generating $1 million a day and starting to like change the world, like I want to see that. And then I just think it would be cool to just be a badass woman managing this $100 million company. Most of the people I serve are black and brown. See, the Lord don't want to hear. No, not the Lord. The devil don't want to hear this. This thing's been good all night. All of a sudden, it wanted to turn over. But I just want to see what it's like to build a company like that, and we have the chance to do it. And it's really kind of cool just to know that, like I see so many other startups and companies that are building like that, and I never thought that's me. Right. I always thought like that's the white kid in Silicon Valley that knows how to code, and I don't know any of those things, but I'm a really smart black woman that knows how to help people, and I can own a company just as big or bigger, and I could sell it for billions of dollars too. So, like, I don't know, like that's exciting me right now. Right. So that's I think what's going on for me. How about you?
I love that. Mine's a little more self-serving. I'm not gonna lie. For me, because I have always felt like my whole life I've always like had to take care of other people. Right. I'm setting myself up for like this great sabbatical, and it doesn't mean that I'm not gonna come back. But for me, so I'm setting up my next 3 streams of income because I'm trying to get to 15 streams of income. Nice. So I'm setting up my next 3 right now. For those of y'all who follow me, y'all know what we do with them Amazon stores. Automation. We don't touch nothing, right? But I want to finish setting up these streams of income. I want them to work by themselves. And I want to take like a year or 2 sabbatical and just, me and my wife, I go buy a house out in Bali. We stay out there for a minute and just kind of hang out. You know what I mean? So, my goal is to have 1,000 apartment units before I hit 40. So I got 9 years to do that. We'll have 100.
You're so young. You're a baby. Oh my goodness.
So yeah, that's my goal. Just get everything going. Stock market's going to do great. Easily going to do 8 figures next year with the stock market. So just keep throwing that into income producing real estate, which is also a tax write-off. We got to talk about that. I got some tax strategies for you. So yeah.
Please, because if Trump's only paying $70, that is, I need to know the game because I got to figure it out.
And see here, look, people didn't want to hear this. But see, I've been studying him and Robert Kiyosaki. I've been studying them before he even made presidency. And they've been playing this game for a while. And I kind of play it too. Like people, I made millions of dollars and people were like, how the fuck you get a stimulus check? I was like, because I ain't paying this. Like I basically decreased my tax burden so much it made it look like I made $21,000. So
yeah, we need to talk. I gotta figure that out.
So it's a way to do this thing and play this game, but you just got to know what you're doing, right? So yeah, this is something I'm gonna be doing. I got you. We'll talk more about that.
I'm just saying. Yeah, we'll talk more about that. Like, okay, we gotta talk about taxes. We need to talk about something else you told me. I got it in my notes.
We'll talk about it. Look, somebody know the game on this. Depreciation, facts. Depreciation is huge. And there's a lot of things you can do, around. I mean, like literally, there's a lot of things you can do. I'm going to drop a little something for y'all real quick. You can actually set up real estate or your actual residence out of the country. Some of them do that, right? And if you technically don't have your business in the U.S., you don't pay U.S. taxes. Legally, right? There's some stuff that's going on. And there are people out there. There's actually a whole service around this where it's called the Nomad Entrepreneur, I think is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
The Nomad Entrepreneur. And basically, this is a service that literally will set up, like you can get a new passport or, citizenship in another country, right? You can move your business there. And as long as you have things set up properly, Amazon does it. It's stuff that's legal, y'all. And that's why I'm always telling you, we got to cut the emotions off and see what the hell is going on.
Right.
See what's going on.
And see, I could do that because I already, so this year, had there not been COVID, I was planning to work a month, be traveling a month, work a month, travel a month. So I wouldn't have been here in the States enough anyway to be technically a U.S. resident. And then I also like I literally have family in other places. You got to tell me the game because this tax year can't be the same as last tax year.
Facts. Somebody mentioned, see, I like to address some of the negativity I see. And I say he's being negative. He could just be, throwing out some funny stuff. But somebody said something about Wesley Snipes' tax plan. See, the difference with people, let me say this, first of all, I'm not a legal advisor. I'm not a CPA, but I've been doing this long enough to know how to play the game. Now, somebody mentioned Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes' income was considered earned income. He's an employee. It's different. When you make businesses and you own assets, you get taxed different than an employee. So if I go and I work for a movie, I make a movie and they pay me for the movie, I'm an employee of the person who made the movie, right? So my tax burden is different than somebody so for example, if you're an employee, you really don't have any write-offs. You can't lower your tax burden. But if I own a business, I can lower them as much as I want, right? So I'm not gonna get too deep into the taxes because I don't want, we're gonna keep some sauce.
Right. Everybody gotta see their own CPA.
That's right. Go see your CPA and do your thing, right? That's right. W-2 versus 1099. Facts.
Now, somebody on here was talking about what are you gonna do if Trump dies with the coronavirus? And because we did say we were going to talk about uncertainty, do you have any kind of plans for, like, what's your Hail Mary plan, or do you even have one?
Sorry, my phone it's almost dying. I'm sorry.
I know, right? Me too. We might have to get off soon.
Yeah, we're going to have to end this real soon. But I'll say this: I do have a contingency plan for that. I don't want to say it live, but
oh, okay.
Well, I'll go ahead and say it, but I'm kind of already expecting that to happen. So yeah, I got some things in place. I personally feel like whatever happens with the U.S., if it goes south, you need to be in other assets, and that can mean Chinese stocks. I'm not gonna mention some of the Chinese stocks I like, but we're holding some Chinese stocks. I got other assets, gold, silver, Bitcoin. You name it. It's called hedging. That's it. So get in some assets. I don't buy bullion. No. Just because, once again, you gotta do your history. When they took the dollar off the gold standard, they seized everybody's bullion gold. Right? They seized everybody's gold. The only way you got to keep your gold is if you had gold coins. Because it's currency still. It's still considered currency. So I know I don't do bullion. Chinese stocks, they're scary. I get it, but you got to hedge, and you got to be willing. You got to be willing to do it.
Right. If that economy is doing well, then you don't want to be afraid of something that might be doing well.
Right.
I will say, for educational purposes, for everybody who is on here, if the market does start to drop really fast, I do want you guys to know how to make money on the way down. So we talked a little bit about shorting, and we talked about like buying puts and selling calls. But I also want you to remember that when the VIX starts going up, the spreads are going to get a lot higher. Thanks. You also may not have anybody on the other side of your trade because it's about buyers and sellers. So if you are shorting, you got to buy it back to get out of the trade. And if nobody wants to sell it to you, you're not going to be able to get out of the trade. Thanks. So if you do have if the market does stop really or drop really fast, I do want you guys to have some kind of stops in the system so that if it does fall, it can take you out of the trade.
Right.
Because if something happens with President Trump and he does, get put on a ventilator or something like that, rest and believe or rest assured, we're not gonna hear about it until it's a little bit too late.
Facts.
Like everybody else gonna know and have moved their money, and then it's gonna come on CNBC. And then for all of you guys that are cord cutters, I really want you right now to figure out a way that you can start seeing CNBC live. Because you need to start seeing financial news real time, or at least have it on your cell phone so that you're not finding out hours later after something happens and you miss the move. Because I saw that happening even yesterday with the whole stimulus thing. It happened and the market dropped 60 points in 15 minutes, but that was because of something Trump said, but it was only put out on like CNBC or if you were watching his tweets. So you guys that are cord cutters, I really want you to make sure that you downloaded CNBC on your cell phone or you have some kind of streaming service. You can do that through Fire Stick or AT&T Direct, something where you can see financial news real time because that's going to be important.
Facts.
All right.
Facts.
Just a couple of thoughts for you. Anything last thing you want to say, Tay, before we go?
No. To wrap up, I just want to say, look, y'all keep studying because the more you learn, the more you earn. And the next thing that the number one thing you need to know is that you can't expect to Google this stuff. I just have to keep saying that. If y'all going to Google this thing and then y'all going to try to come play against us, because the market is basically a game of me against you or us against y'all, right? So if you're going to try to Google your way here and YouTube your way here and then try to jump in the market and come play against some bosses, you got to be careful with that, right? I don't want to take y'all little money, so be careful. I want you on my side of the trade, not the other way, all right?
Yeah. And I will say there's a lot of people out there. I've been seeing a lot of like bots on my pages about, well, you could only long-term trade. You can't actively invest. 95% of active investors lose. And that may be true, but at the same time, like that's 5% that are doing really well. And those 5% got the education to do it right. So I want you guys to just get into these courses, learn from people who are doing well and follow them. And I remember you said something, Tay, earlier, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but it reminded me of a lot of people don't believe in active investing, but it's literally just something that they heard somewhere. I think it was a book you talked about like killing old
sacred cows.
Sacred cows.
Killing sacred cows.
You heard somebody say one time that you shouldn't be an active investor. And so you just took that to heart. And now everybody you see that's a trader, you think that they're wrong because you heard from somebody else that the only way to invest is long term. And that's not true. You can do like myself, day in swing trade, or like Tay said, put half of it in longer term positions and then trade with the other half. But either way, you can make quite a bit of money actually actively investing. So I want you guys to just know that. And then let's tell them how to find our courses. I know for me, you can go to investwithteri.com, and that's investwithteri.com. We just started our October cohort, and we'll see you in class. And then tell them, Tay, how to find Secure the Bag.
So, I've shut the operation down from new people coming in.
Okay. I forgot. The 5 people. I forgot.
I tell you what, because I know I got 5 people here right now. Like, I got to come over there with Tay. Look, I want you to DM me. I'll take the first 5 people who DM me. I got a $3,000 course for 6 months, $3,000, or 12 months, $5,000. The first 5 people to DM me, I'll take you. After that, you won't be able to get in maybe until November, December. So I'll probably open it back up for 5 more people then.
Hey, I mean, I'm just saying, y'all better, for trade and travel, y'all better hurry up, because when I get too tired, I'm going to do what Tay doing and be like, look, court's closed. I'll see y'all next year in 2021.
Facts.
Well, thank you so much, Tay. Thank you for doing this with me. Like, this was so much fun. And I like right now, I am literally just praising the Lord that I have friends like you, because I feel like Like, it's so nice to just have other friends that are traders and like to just tell all the gems and like share with the audience. So I'm just so thankful for you. Thank you so much.
Of course. Likewise. We're gonna do this again. Definitely.
Yay. I'm sure the audience wants it.
Oh,
They'll be like, when are y'all coming back?
We definitely gonna do this again.
Thank you. I would love that. I would love that so much.
Most definitely.
All right. Well, I see you. Have a good night. Please tell your wife I said hi.
Most definitely will. You have a good night.
Thank you. And bye, everybody. Thank y'all for coming.
Peace out, y'all.
Bye.